What's good, people? This your boy Cincy, aka Mr. Good Vibes, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. How's everyone doing? How's your trading? How's your life? How's your health? Prayers that the Lord Almighty will continue to protect you and guide you in this journey. Now, with that being said, as you guys know, the market is currently going through um, turbulent time, so I can imagine a lot of people are currently not too happy. A lot of people are still thinking, what do I do? A lot of people are most likely even experiencing this crash or this type of crash for the first time. Now, I will tell you one thing for sure. If you're going to be in this game, if you're going to trade, there's one thing you need to definitely have on your arsenal, and that is a game plan. And the reason why it's very important for you to have a game plan is because so that on days like this, you know what to do and you do not panic, so you know exactly what you need to do. And one of the best ways to have game plan is to study technical analysis. If you have technical analysis will guide you and show you the correct way to enter and exit trades without having to second guess yourself or use your emotions to trade. Now, that was easier said than done. Even when you have your technical analysis intact, there's still a chance that you still need to control your emotions, which means you still need to have that patience and you still need to have that discipline. So your game plan must also come with some type of risk plan as well. So it's not just your game plan. So it's not just knowing the technical analysis, it's knowing the technical analysis, knowing what to do when you see a certain level, and also to actually apply the right risk when it matters. Now, with that being said, now I want to start taking a look at some of the things that we're looking at on the chart, some of the instruments we're looking at on the chart. And today I'm going to start talking about the three major indexes, which I showed yesterday. Let me start with my favorite one, which is always the XPX, right? So we have XPX currently right now trading at what, negative 1% today. So you can see XPX on the futures is currently down 64 points, which I'm not surprised. So we were looking at, let me go back to the weekly chart. So we're looking at the weekly chart. So you remember yesterday, I told you guys that I need XPX to break to trade above this level in order for me to trust it. But unfortunately, XPX continued to drop further down. As a matter of fact, we've broken another support level, which is now absolutely concerning for me. You can see that it's not looking too great for XPX. Now, if I go into the daily chart, and the daily chart kind of shows me the kind of bearishness that we are dealing with. So for those of you who are just following me for the first time, you remember how I trade. I typically look at my chart and look for the primary indicators such as my S sign and my red arrow in this case would indicate a sell, right? As compared to if it's a buy, you get a B sign and a green arrow to the upside. Now, the other thing is if it's a buy, you want your price to be above all these moving averages for the most part. And if it's a sell, you definitely want your price to be below all these moving averages. So you can see that the price has slowly somehow, somewhere gotten below the moving average until this big news of the day the Feds actually released the news, which was on Wednesday. So you can see yesterday was actually a good opportunity to go back and short the S&P as we almost tested this former resistance, or what I call close to this baseline. So for those of you who shorted this, is definitely doing well this morning. As you can see, the market has dropped significantly from that point and broken multiple levels as well as this morning goes by. So if you look down below on the chart, you can see for those of you again who are just following for the first time, I typically use secondary indicators below the chart and try to complement them with what is on the primary, which is the buy sign or the S sign and the red arrow, right? So you can see on the secondary side, we already have two line cross indicators such as this, where the green above where the red above the green would represent a sell, and a green color going above the red represents more of a buy. So you can see the current status on the daily chart is actually a sell signal for the XPX 500. Now, if you look at my one line cross, you can see that my one line cross showed that the signal line did cross below the zero line on the 10th of December, which was the very good indication of a bearish signal on the daily chart. So you can see, and since then it's just falling all the way to the negative side. So if your signal is on the positive side, then you're definitely bullish or it's a buy. Or the minute you start to fall into this negative portion, then things start to look super bearish. So that's why I'm not surprised that the XPX 500 continues to drop. So you can see we have two bearish signals along with the S and the red arrow that we see on the chart. And if you also look at this signal, you can see that we've gone from a yellow to a red color, and not just a red color, we've gone from a yellow, red positive to now a red negative. A red negative is indicating a super bearish trend in the XPX 500. And the last, not the last, but the second to last indicator is my signal line. And again, I want my signal line, if it's positive, to always be between the upper and the white line or the middle line. But you can see the current signal is between the upper and the lower level. So that's telling me this is definitely a sell or a buy signal for the XPX, right? And the final one is my last or my second two-line cross. And you can see this crossover right here was the sell crossover. A buy crossover would be something more like this, where the green goes above the red. But you can see immediately we have the red go above the green. That was more of a sell crossover for XPX 500. So we have a whole bunch of bearish sentiment sitting on the daily chart of the XPX 500. And right now, it doesn't seem to look good. In fact, I'm thinking, is it possible that we could also go back and test this support right there? This support right there, or are we going to go all the way down to this 5,007? So if you go all the way down to 5,007, I would definitely be a buyer at that level, because that is definitely a huge drop on the XPX. You know, that would definitely be a good place to want to pick things up. But if you can see, all in all, in general, is that the market has actually been on a tear for the most part for the year. But towards the end of the year, because of what the Feds are doing next year, which means they've reduced the number of rate cuts from 4 to 5 to just 2. And I think the market does not like that kind of news, and they have decided to just crash the entire thing as we continue to see. Now, so let's look at NAS 100 as well. So the NAS 100 is the one that is more attributed to the tech industry, right? With the likes of Amazon, the likes of Google, and the likes of Meta. So you can see the NAS 100 is down 365 points today. Wow, look at that. This is insane on the future. So the market is dropping really, really crazy again. On the NASDAQ, we have the S sign and the red arrow to the downside. You can see that we had this huge candle on the day of the press release from the FOMC, from the Feds, where we went below all our moving averages. You can see our moving averages now turning down. We have a red color, and we also have a red color on this moving average. And you can see that the secondary indicators below are showing bearish signals. You can see red is above the green. That is definitely a bearish signal. You can see the signal line has gone below the zero line. That is definitely a bearish signal. So you can see that we are now super negative on the signal. And you can see for this indicator, we've gone from green to red, and you can see we didn't necessarily fall into the negative side. I think we had a little bit of a bounce there, but I'm thinking this is definitely going to fall back into that negative zone and make Nasdaq super bearish as well. This is also another indicator, which is my one-line indicator. You can see if it's bullish, it will be between the upper and the middle line, right? Now, because it's bearish, now we're seeing it between the upper and the lower level. So you can see it's also on the negative side. That's the current signal right there, what, negative 0.41. That is what I'm seeing on this indicator. So that is telling me that Nasdaq is definitely bearish signal, or definitely a sell currently. And the final one is when we made this crossover right there. So we actually completed the full set of indicators indicating a sell for Nasdaq. So you can see we had the crossover here on 28th last week, indicating a sell signal. Again, a buy signal represents something more like this, where the green is going above the red, but you can see the red is going above the green in this particular instance. So we definitely see a lot of bearish sentiments for the Nasdaq 100. Now, for me to get back into this market, I need the Nasdaq to relatively find some kind of consolidation somewhere and just slowly turn back. Until we see that, that's probably when we're going to enter. But for right now, I feel like the market is a little bit too extended on the downside, and I'm not going to be shorting anymore. Like I said, I should have shorted the market yesterday when we came close to my moving average. As you see now, from that level, it has continued to drop further down, and I think there's a chance that Nasdaq could actually fall all the way down to this next level right here. But actually, seeing Nasdaq fall all the way down to that next level, which has acted as a support right there, acted as a resistance, and also acted as a resistance at some point. I like to look at multiple points in this particular instance. So now let's look at Dow. That was the US 30, and that was the final index that I'm going to talk about. So you can see Dow has just fell. Wow. Hold on. Before I go to Dow, let me quickly look at Nasdaq. Let me look at the Nasdaq weekly. Let's check out the Nasdaq weekly. The weekly chart for Nasdaq. Okay, so as you can see, the weekly chart for Nasdaq again is going below my weekly moving average, which is the green one, and now we're touching this final moving average here. So there's a lot of drops in the Nasdaq. So there's going to be a lot of conviction when this market decides to go back up. So we need to see a lot of things, and that will convince us that this market is ready to go back up. But for now, I think it's best for us to just kind of sit it out and see how things play out, right? So like I was saying, the US 30, you can see this was like my trend line, which I drew yesterday. As I was telling you guys that this trend line always tends to act as a support. But you can see today we're closing below that trend line. We're trading below that trend line, which is a concern for me. As I believe that there's a chance we could come here and test this support level until we see a fresh bounce, right? So if you look at the daily chart of the US 30, you can see that the daily chart is just as ugly as the rest of them. You can see this one has actually had a what? How many day streak? Like a 10-day losing streak. So again, the signs were already there even before the FOMC meetings. You can see the green, red arrow, and the S signs were definitely a sell for the US 30. You can see my moving average color is actually red. You can see it's also red on this moving average, right? So the minute we tested this red, whenever we test this red, that's always a good place to short. Why? Because if you look down below, you can see that our secondary indicators look pretty convincing that this is still a sell, right? Because of the red is greater than the green, right? It's still telling me that this is still a sell. If you see again, the red bars are still consistent. Yeah, nothing has changed there. Let's take a look at this one. You can see the signal line is actually below the zero line. The signal line is actually below the zero line, which is around negative 8,000, sorry, negative 800. You can see that's a huge drop. And you can see this final one, signal line, you can see it's actually between my upper and my lower level. So this is definitely a sell signal, as it's also on the negative side of things. And the final two line cross, again, you can see that's that sell signal when the green went below and the red went above. And the buy signal would be something like this. So again, three major indexes showing three sell signals in the market. Not always a good thing, which is why I'm not surprised that we are not holding this trend line. As I believe if we do not hold this trend line, this is definitely going to be the next support of worry. So if we see this level on US 30, I'm going to see if we're going to get a lot of reaction from there. But I think that's probably where we're headed for now. As I don't believe that this market has actually dropped this much. Again, with that being said, I was even doing a $500 account challenge, which I have decided to put on pause. I haven't closed it. I just put it on pause, but I'll continue it pretty soon because of the market volatility. I don't think it's smart trading in this kind of market with that small amount of money, as I believe that any wrong move I make can easily, wipe out whatever is left from the account, especially the fact that I've already started losing before I got into this. And also I closed out most of my positions for my meme coin challenge, as I did not like all those meme coins anymore. Again, if you look at Shiba Inu, I spoke about Shiba and I spoke about Shiba and I told you guys can see how bad Shiba has dropped. Shiba just keeps dropping. In fact, Shiba has already filled out its entire profit that we got between the month of November and December. And you can see it has already taken almost all that profit back and then some. So for those of us who enter somewhere in between, hopefully you guys are not hurting too much. But again, this is what I was talking about. And I told you guys how Shiba somehow, some way loves to see rejection at this trend line. Tested this one, tested this one, and now tested this one, and you can see this one is now dropping further down. And as a matter of fact, this one has actually dropped so bad and found support on this moving average. Again, let's see if it's going to bounce from here. As you can see, this is definitely ugly for me. I can't take this. I had to just close all these guys as I know how they behave. Look at that. Pepe. Pepe went below my moving average. I do not like it. Sold it because of that. Immediately I saw it moving below this green moving average. I just decided to just close that position just to be on the safe side. The last one is was Pepe. Pepe, I'm going from Pepe to Floki. Yeah, so Floki is another one that I had on my position. I had Floki. Again, while I was so excited trading meme coins, same way, I don't even waste time selling them. So Floki, you can see Floki looks terrible right now. It's below my moving average on the weekly. Which other one again? Bonk. Yeah, Bonk was even the first one I sold. I'm sure that one's drop-ins must be a whole lot worse than most of them. Yeah, look at that. That's just covered and, pretty much they sold this entire candle, which was supposed to be profit for some, and it's almost back down to this level. So, yeah, I'm so glad I sold all these guys before this huge catapulation that we're seeing currently on the crypto market. But again, you guys don't fret, don't make any rash decision. Continue to watch this market and see this as an opportunity to get back into the market and trade with some not vengeance, but trade to make some money or make the losses that you've made back. So again, don't buy these DPS. Simply just wait to see what the market is doing in general. You can see Bitcoin on the weekly chart as somehow some way find itself in my buy zone. Am I going to buy Bitcoin yet? I don't think so yet. Again, I'm going to be watching the daily chart. As you can see on the daily chart, it looks pretty strong going down. We see quite a few support. As a matter of fact, this is a major support level. But I wouldn't be surprised if they bring it down further down to the top of this cloud, which is like 88,000. So 88,000 would be a good place for me to add, to add to my Bitcoin. Ethereum, on the other hand, is definitely not looking too great. Look at that, down 6% today, and it's just dropping like fly. And you see, Ethereum has found some kind of support at this what's it called? Cloud. At the base of this cloud. I think that might actually be a good place to start adding some Ethereum back into our portfolio. So I'm going to start adding some Ethereum back into our portfolio because it came all the way to this cloud. But I can guarantee you, though, if Bitcoin does drop further down, then Ethereum will definitely get that that action to definitely go down. So again, I'm seeing a lot of buy opportunities here as to us trying to run away or whatever the case might be. Let me look at the weekly chart for Ethereum. Yeah, look at that huge drop, huge drop. So again, I'm going to be waiting for some kind of relief rally or something to just bring us back up. But if you're not getting it, then you want to use this as an opportunity to definitely buy some of these positions. Now, Solana, on the other hand, is another one I need to talk about. So Solana is down 6% this morning as well. Solana is down 6 whooping percent. Look at that. I said Solana. I told you guys Solana. I even drew a couple of levels. I say Solana cannot go below this level. Solana couldn't trade below this trend line, and Solana could not go below this level. That was what I initially said. And you can see Solana is now currently trading below that level. As a matter of fact, the weekly chart on Solana is even looking uglier by the minutes, as we see quite a few bearish sentiments where the red is now beginning to go above the green. And not only that, we're beginning to see more and more bearish sentiments. As you can see also on the signal line, it's beginning to go below the zero line and it's going to the negative side. And the last one is going to be this one, right? Where we've gone from a green color to a red color in this case. So that is indicating more of a sell. Now, if you look at if you look at the daily chart too shows a very, very strong bearish case. As you can see, my big moving average is red. That's indicating a sell. We have our sell signal. You can see how the price has been falling down for the past couple of days. It's using this moving average as a nice little support resistance level, and eventually we got that capitulation after the FOMC meeting. And as you can see down below, all these secondary indicators are definitely indicating a sell signal for Ethereum, sorry, for Solana as well. Again, let me see. I can put this. You can see that is on the negative side. That is a sell. And you can see that is showing from red, so from green to red, red to green, and on the negative side, that is definitely a sell. And you can also see this one, my second signal line cross. You can see it's also on the negative side, and that is also indicating a sell signal for Solana. So Solana, I believe Solana is looking super duper bearish, as the two line cross is also showing that crossover right there, and you can see that separation between the two of them, showing how strong and powerful this sell trend is. I think Solana is probably most likely going to drop to 160, and I'm definitely going to be a buyer of Solana at that 160 level. Now, as you guys can see, I've covered the three major indexes, and I've also covered some of the major cryptos and meme coins that most of you are most likely holding, and what are my thoughts about them. Again, I'm going to be watching this market closely, as I'm going to be buying at different levels. Again, it's dollar cost averaging. I'm not trying to buy everything at once, but once I see a huge drop like the one I've seen in Ethereum today, I will definitely be buying that position and holding it for some time, as I want to get that rally back to the upside. As cryptocurrency sentiment is still definitely very, very strong with the incoming president. Don't forget that. And again, the market tends to have a way of reminding us who's the boss, and it will take you away from the focus of things we're supposed to do. But use this opportunity as a new venture to definitely start afresh and open new positions. For those of us who are still on the sidelines and thinking when it's a good time to enter crypto, hey, this is it. This is it. This is your time. You get it. All right. This is your boy Cincy, aka Mr. Good Vibes. And let's make some small money together, even if it's just a little.